Well, seeing we've already covered touch, smell, taste, the visual sense seems a pretty logical next candidate for building our embodied sensitivity with the senses and all the rest of that area, right? So certainly those with lessened or no visual ability can still also be highly embodied and generally actually have far more ability in these other areas, the other sense areas we've already covered. But for those who are sighted, the visual senses account for around 80% of their perceptual process. Researchers have stated that because we rely more on vision than any of our other senses, far more of our primate brain is actually recruited for processing visual information more than, say, processing information from any of the other senses. The visual sense is crucial for understanding and navigating our environment, of course, and locating dangers, for learning, for memory and cognitive development, for coordinating complex tasks, and most manual motor skills. Also for complex social engagement skills, including reading body language and facial recognition, understanding emotional cues from others. It's also important for, of course, reading and playing sport and so many other areas of our life. The visual sense is also, despite all of that, prone to being a very fallible sense. We think of it as something that's literally recording what's happening in the world. What we see in our minds is actually the neurological interpretations of the visual senses from the eye. It's more a reconstruction that is sometimes built just a little bit wonky. Firstly, our eyes only perceive a very small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. They also have blind spots, literal blind spots, and maybe an inability even to perceive certain colours. We become colourblind. Optical illusions distort realities. Our attention is captivated by certain things our system deems particularly critical, and so others might be just kind of weeded out. And our whole system is trying to optimize, so it'll take shortcuts and make predictions. That means, well, we can just fool ourselves. If you've ever gone fruitlessly looking in a cupboard or the fridge for something, only to have someone 5 minutes later go there and just go, well, there it is, and pull it straight out, then you know exactly what I mean. We can easily miss things entirely in our whole environment. And what I want to offer you is a short practice that helps to reset your visual awareness, to ground you more into presence and reconnect with the act of seeing as a more embodied experience. I can offer you just a short little practice which will just give you one doorway into being able to do this, but there are of course many. So for this little practice, wherever you are, certainly don't be driving or doing any other kind of critical life task that involves you being in some way in control of a piece of equipment or something like that. But otherwise, just sit, stand comfortably, maybe just letting your shoulders feel easy, feeling your breath settle. And just come into the body a little more fully. Maybe just soften the eyes, releasing any strain or intensity. And perhaps just a little unfocused, sometimes resting the gaze a little somewhere a little in front of you rather than grasping onto anything, just allowing yourself to receive visually. Now with that, whatever's in front of you, maybe just first of all allowing yourself to be a little narrow, maybe whatever it is that's in front of you, a little spot on the ground, a particular narrow band of vision, and just allow yourself to really tune into that. And then once again, I just invite you just to soften. And I'd like you just to allow as with the softening, just to allow your vision to expand there. And from that narrow piece that was right in front of you, allowing yourself, if anything, to tune in more to the field at the edge of your vision, what we call the peripheral vision. What's here at the edge of your visual field, widening out. Just noticing the pieces that are there. Of course, you're not staring directly at them, you're just capturing them rather obliquely. You're not shifting your head. Just allow your eyes to stay soft and open to the light, the colour, the shape, the shadows. And then maybe for a moment, if this feels appropriate to you, allow yourself to toggle a little bit, come down into the narrow focus, opening up into the wider focus, seeing the periphery. And now just for a moment, just gently closing your eyes. And notice how you feel, how you sense. Just when you've reconnected a little bit more with your visual sense. Just gently, once more opening the eyes again and being more in this receptive mode. The receiving of the visual field, all the data that's out there, in a way that's softer, not so hard, not so straining. See if you can carry that awareness with you for a little bit. And maybe you'll find some more ways to practice this area of the visual sense in a more embodied way.